Okay, for some reason my screen recording software decided that I would stop about 10 minutes in. I don't know why. So I want to catch you up on the things I've been working on. So we were working on the star, right? So I created the star and I modified the path. Now, one of the things I've done is I've looked at the coloration, right? So I chose the color. I hit my stopwatch. So it's in fill 1 color. I hit my stopwatch and I changed the color to well, the color stayed the same, but when I hit this, it puts a keyframe. Now what I did was I scrolled all the way back here. Now you'll notice it's already having the color for the flower take into effect, and it turns to this pinky color flower when it's all the way right here. Now, what I can do at this point in time when it turns to this particular color is I've changed the coloration to red 192, green 49, blue 33. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change my red color to a little bit different so it looks not quite so, oh my gosh, right? I'm going to do my green. All right, so there we go. Just trying to change the color so it's not as, there we go, right? Okay, so let's do lighter green. So I can change the color and you can see how it affects back there. And then my red is way too red. I don't necessarily need you to change it, but if you want to change the stroke to something a little less, I don't know, crazy, oh, that's kind of pretty. I'm going to change it to yellow. And so what happens is, and then it's going to change the color from the star, which is that's kind of cool. And it's going to change it to this. Now, you'll notice that since this was, I forgot to insert a color change here, so I'm just going to leave it. But if you wanted to animate the color change of your stroke, you could move it. You could insert an item here or a keyframe there and then make the change all the way out to the floor. But that's okay. So, all right, so this is where we're at so far. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stem. So I choose the pen tool here, and then I click here, right? And then I click in the center of the flower, and what I want to do is before I let go, I want to bend it slightly. Now you'll note that it is doing a fill. Now you can turn it off. I haven't had much luck turning off the fill, but the way I control the fill is I can actually come in here to the shape, right? And then where it has fill, I can choose the opacity back to 0. That's what we did before, and now there is no fill. For the color itself, I could use yellow. I believe I could also use, we deleted it before too, right? So we did okay, right? So there we go. And of course, if I want to change the stroke here, so I want to change the color, so I can hit my eyedropper. If I want to choose this, now I change it to green. You'll note that it is below, I'm just going to call this stem, right? So I'm going to right click, I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call it stem. You'll notice that the flower is below the stem. If I want to, I can actually click on the stem itself and drag it below the falling star, so now it's behind it, so I can see the stem behind it. Now with it still at 420, I did go in and I changed the stroke width to 3, which is perfect. I also want to access the position, right? So if I don't see the position readily, I can come along and I just push P, right? And it has the position. And what I want to do with the position, with that layer selected, I want to press P to reveal position, then click the stopwatch icon to create an initial keyframe of its final position. So this is the initial keyframe of the final position, which is here, right? So I have my keyframe here, and then I want to go to 3 minute, and okay, so we're going to go to our, let's continue. Okay, so I want to push the position. Oh boy, for some reason it's not allowing me to, there we go. I want to click the position here, right? So here's my position. And then I want to move back to the 3 point. When I move back to about the 3 second mark, I want to make sure that my selector is selected. I want to hold down my shift button, and then I want to grab this and I basically want to move it below the pot. So it's basically going straight up. All right. There we go. I want to basically move it here. Now you'll notice the pot, it's on the front side of the pot, which is fine. I can rearrange it. So what I'm doing is I'm creating the illusion that it rises as it goes forward, just like that. So it's growing, right? Now, in my particular case, since the tail end is outside the pot, that's okay. I'm just going to move up the rim of the flower pot in front of the stem and the base of the flower pot in front of the stem, so that way the stem is below it. So now, right, it looks like it's growing out of the boop. You don't have to make the noise, but see how that works? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm back at my position 420. And then I want to click outside so I don't have anything selected. Because originally I did have it selected, and then it drew it right inside here, which totally defeats what I'm doing. I want to make sure to hit my pen tool again. And then when I hit my pen tool, I want to left click here. And then I want to left click here. And then I want to make what appears to be a petal. I'm going to change the color and do all those things to it here. So I'm just going to change the shape and some different items real quick. So in a similar way that I change the color of the stem, I change the color of the petal 1, and I change the actual stroke. It could be the same color, or I can just make the opacity 0 so it doesn't appear as well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it back. Whoops, excuse me. I'm going to then grab, since it's right there, I'm going to open up my position, right? So with petal 1 selected, I'm going to push P, position, and I'm going to place a stopwatch point right there. So it's going to give me a keyframe on the petal frame. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to position 3 again, right? So here's my position 3. And in the exact same similar fashion, I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to push my shift key so I can get a straight line out of it. And then I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to move it down. Now notice I'm moving it behind my pot, right? So it's going to grow a little bit odd. It's going to grow sideways, which is fine because I want it to be below the pot. What I'm going to do then is my petal. I'm going to take my petal and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to put it behind the rim, the base of the flower pot right here. And so now what happens is as the two grow together, out comes my leaf, right? The same way. Right? Ooh, it's all coming together now, right? Now what I could do if I wanted to, since it's in that particular position, I could also click on, I could change the path if I wanted to. Right? So I could get in there and change the path, but I'm going to leave the path like it is. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, I totally fibbed. I moved my scrubber about halfway through, and then I grabbed the white section of the middle path, and I grabbed it and moved it up here, so that way the path line will go here, and you'll notice it actually curves now. Right? So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to do the other petal, similar fashion. Okay, so I added my second petal in the same basic format. Right? So it hits here, the second petal's coming up, and whoop, now we have 2 petals. All right, and that concludes our composition. And let's take a look here real quick. We'll just run through it. There's a star, and it comes in, and it grows, and there we have it. We are complete with our composition. All right, so that ends part C of our section, which took a little longer than I expected. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you're able to make your flower grow. This is more akin to animate, but you still have some options.